kirtan, and then whoever the speaker is for the Saturday speaks something about what he wants to speak.
Okay.
And then tomorrow morning for the morning program we have a class, and then in the afternoon, starting at 2 o'clock, the kirtan starts, and then the greeting, and then the fire ceremony, and then. Or you want somebody else? I mean, there's other Hare Krishna. There's other. It's your choice.
Okay.
Yeah?
That means Artik or a kirtan?
No.
A kirtan.
This is the altar. The deities are ready. They are waiting to go to bed after this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So now
It's
it's
a kirtan.
a kirtan, and you speak, and
Okay.
you can have an hour kirtan and an hour speech, or half an hour kirtan, half an hour speech. You decide.
Okay.
It's our time, from
Okay.
6 to 7 or 8, up to you.
Okay.
Okay. And the devotees, they are listening. Those who will come tomorrow, they are listening. Those who are here will meet you here, and the other ones they will come in the morning to service, and in the afternoon more devotees will come.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Hare Krishna. This is your seat. Kartals or mridanga or harmonium, Maharaj.
Yeah. Harmonium is okay.
Harmonium. So you need a table. And tomorrow, breakfast, at what time we have breakfast? 9 o'clock for the Maharaj. So you said after breakfast we can have a talk with you.
Okay.
So what time is it? 10 o'clock, 10:30 after breakfast, or what?
10:30 would be good because I have to make a call.
Yes, so 10:30, yes?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So. You stay.
Yes.
Now it's gone. Did you read my last message? Did you give me a last piece? No, you did not. I sent another message. After you send this, I send this. See, because I tried to understand what you said, so I repeated. Hopefully that I understood, and I wanted you to tell me what I understood.
Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityana Vine
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami
Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Vacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastyatya Deshakarine
Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya,
Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya,
Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya,
Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya.
Radha Ramana Hare Govinda Jaya Jaya, Radha Ramana Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jai Gaura Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Gurtanandi, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Aghnapari, Shri Bali Devi ki, Shri Sivoni Sai ki, Shri Prahlad Singha ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Krishna Kirti Prabhu, can you take your harmonium away, please? Just the harmonium, take the harmonium. With the carpet. Thank you. You can put it back, Prabhu, back there. Here, by the wall.
Hare Krishna. So, very happy to be here. I think the first time in this particular place.
Yes.
And in the past, of course, I did visit when the capital was Heidelberg, ISKCON capital, Heidelberg. And before that, Berlin. So, very happy to be here with the Association of the Devotees.
And this place is existing 25 years now.
25.
25. When I started my GBC service, this was the first problem I had to solve.
Oh. Okay.
The story is another story. And then Bhakti Charu Maharaj came here on 2016, and we took the opportunity to, he gifted us with Prabhupada Murti, and he gifted us with the, I don't know, yeah, the wooden. And we had a name, Hari Nam Namadesh, and he was here to, install the name. So he installed Srila Prabhupada. It was Radhastami, was it, and in 2016. But we were already here when I started my service as GBC because this was the first problem I had to solve.
Okay.
And then we made this out of it.
Wonderful.
Hemanga Gopal and myself, the two of us.
Okay.
He one day said, I want to support you. And I thought, if one person wants to support me, Krishna is sending this person, then Krishna wants me to do something. And this is how the ball started rolling.
Okay. Wonderful. Om Gyananandasya Chakshur Militamina Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupata Mayam Vilati Svaparantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamaram Shri Guru Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupam Sakajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Valita Shri Vishakam Natam Shri Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Taptana Sanagorangi Radhe Vindavaneshwari Vishvanu Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Hari Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashari Gaura Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vaskyacharishatarine Panchakalpatarubhyascha Vipasindubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So, the program for this first part of this weekend is Harinam initiation and Upanaya initiation. Upanaya really means to open the eyes. And second initiation, which is, Srila Prabhupada said, is the real initiation. Meaning, by Vedic standard, by Vaishnava standard, the real initiation is to receive the holy name, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in 15th chapter of Madhya Lila. Satyaraj Khan, he approached Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the devotees of Kalinga Gram, and said, "My dear Lord, those of us who are attached to family and living in family environment, how will we become liberated?" And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that Krishna Seva, Vaishnava Seva, Nirantara Krishna Nam Sankirtan. That you worship Krishna, worship the Vaishnava, and chant incessantly the holy name of the Lord. And so, the first question that Satyaraj Khan said after that, what is a Vaishnava? because of course he knew what a Vaishnava was, for our education. Just like Arjuna, he knew all these things. Everything in the Bhagavatam, practically everything is for our education. A lot of yoga maya, creating circumstances. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, someone who chants once the holy name of Krishna. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, actually, of course in that purport, very interesting, that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he says that if one actually understands there's no difference between Krishna and his holy name, he is a pure devotee, even if he's a neophyte. So sometimes we have a hard time, how can a pure devotee be a neophyte? And how can a neophyte be a pure devotee? So actually, there's different kinds of neophytes. One kind is the Prakriti Bhakta, who is just learning Krishna consciousness. And another kind of neophyte, just like when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when the Bengali poet approached Balaramacharya and said, I want to have an interview with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I want to show him, I've written a poem about Jagannath. And Lord Chaitanya, I want to show. But Swarup Damodar said no. And Balaramacharya insisted, yes. And Swarup Damodar said, you're just a sentimental cowherd boy. You don't understand these things. And finally, Swarup Damodar said, all right, I will hear it. So he spoke the first line. In the first line he said, oh my dear Lord Jagannath, whose wooden body encompasses all good qualities, and the soul of that body is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Swarup Damodar stopped him on the first line, first stanza. He said, you've already committed two unforgivable mistakes. First, you said the body of Lord Jagannath is material. And second, you have categorized Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as a jiva. He lives in some body. And therefore, he chastised him so severely that he practically was ready to leave his body. Because as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, dishonor is worse than death. So for a pandit to be dishonored philosophically is worse than death. But then Swarup Damodar said, but even though you have committed these offenses, if you take shelter of the Vaishnavas, then they will teach you how to glorify properly. And then certainly with all of your poetic ability, you'll be able to do things so nice. Same thing that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to Devananda Pandit. And the same thing he said to Vijay Pandit. You're very learned, but you're not speaking about Krishna. It's like we see so many learned people, and here in Germany, many very famous philosophers all around Europe, England, Spain, France, very many philosophers, very intelligent in analyzing the problem, but not very good at solving the problem. All these philosophers spend like thousands and thousands of pages of writing to explain a problem in the greatest detail, as if we didn't know. It's actually the Prabhupada said that human beings, they have made a manual for sex life. He said it is not required. It will happen automatically. But now, so absorbed in these things. Prabhupada thought it was brilliant. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, actually, there is no need for initiation to chant the holy name. Not only is there no need for initiation, there's not even need for purascharya, which is preparing oneself for initiation. Just like if we had to follow the whole Hari Bhakti Vilas, it would take you about 25 minutes to chant Gayatri. It would take you at least half an hour to prepare to chant japa. And then it would take, and to prepare to speak the Bhagavatam would take you about 20 minutes. So there would be no time for preaching. So Hari Bhakti Vilas is more for those that live in the holy Dham. If you want to follow the whole Harinam Vilas. So then one may think, even some of us remember one of the members of our committee who thought on the basis of that, no need for anything, just chant the holy name. But Srila Prabhupada did not structure this movement like that. Because later, of course, another 2 verses, Srila Prabhupada says in the purport that even though essentially it is not necessary, just like essentially nothing is necessary if you can chant the holy name purely. But if you can't, which Prabhupada said, most of us are conditioned souls. And because we are conditioned souls, then we have to worship the deity. And therefore initiation is necessary. As he quotes Sanatana Goswami and Jiva Goswami, especially those two. How much importance is given to chanting the holy name in a pure way, which can be accomplished by worshiping the deity, worshiping the Vaishnavas, worshiping the Supreme Lord in so many different ways. Even in the purport to 9/11, very beautiful part of that purport, long purport, where Srila Prabhupada says some people are very expert at worshiping the deity, but they don't recognize Paramatma within the heart of each living entity. And therefore, even though they're worshiping the deity, they cannot make advancement very quickly because they don't see Krishna everywhere. Worshipping Krishna means you have to see him in the deity form, in Paramatma, in the form of Paramatma in everyone's heart, which Govinda, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's servant, he taught us that by every day he would massage the legs of the Lord. But one day, the Lord was lying, after he took his meal, was lying in front of the doorway. And Govinda didn't know what to do. And so finally, because he couldn't cross over the body of the Lord, but then he did it, he was massaging. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to external consciousness and said, "Have you taken your meal?" And Govinda said, "No, my Lord." "Why not?" He said, "Because I would have to cross over your body." He said, "Well, how did you get in here?" "I crossed over your body." That was to do service. For you, I can accept any reaction, any offense, but for eating, I certainly cannot do so. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very happy. So he taught us that why don't we pass over the body of anyone? Because the super soul is there. So we don't pass over the body of other Vaishnavas or devotees. I remember Srila Prabhupada taught us that, but nobody understood why. He didn't mention at that time that he said, you just don't cross over the body of any Vaishnava. And then, because why? Well, first of all, they are Vaishnavas. They're worshipable. And second of all, we don't cross over the body of every living entity, which would be very difficult if you're walking. Because there's so many living entities. It would have to be like Mrigardi or Jad Bharat, that looking for every ant. But then there's some smaller living entities you can't see. So basically you can't move. So the only solution to even moving, to even taking a step in this world, is to be fixed in Krishna's service. Then you can be protected from all these things. So this is why we take initiation, to learn. And that learning, one thing that I emphasize, is that learning doesn't happen, it's not coming from one person. Even Srila Prabhupada, who's giving us everything in his books, it's not coming only from Srila Prabhupada. It's coming from our acharyas. It's coming from the parampara. Sometimes devotees like to attribute some special accomplishment to Srila Prabhupada that nobody else did. Like Ritvik, for example. And to think that Prabhupada would conceal that in one letter in a cryptic way that somebody had to figure out many years after his disappearance. And to change something that nobody else in the parampara had done. Just, it doesn't require any analysis. It just requires understanding that Srila Prabhupada would never do, if he was going to make such a drastic change, he would have called all the leaders, all the devotees, and said, because you are so incompetent, I am making this adjustment. But Prabhupada didn't do that. On the contrary, Prabhupada encouraged them, encouraged everyone to become Guru, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu encouraged everyone to become Guru. But Srila Prabhupada said, not such a big thing. You just have to not subtract. Don't add anything. Don't subtract anything. And Prabhupada said so many times that I have no qualification. Just that I have only tried to fulfill what my Guru Maharaj has done. And this is the secret to the parampara. That we simply do. And therefore Srila Prabhupada, in his famous Vyas Puja message, he said, Guru is not one person. Guru is a principle. Just like all of us in this Krishna consciousness movement, we've all had so many gurus. Whether you were initiated by Prabhupada directly, or you're initiated by someone else, the process is the same. And of course, Srila Prabhupada remains the founder Acharya. Srila Prabhupada remains, as we discussed, the foundational Acharya. Foundational Acharya means that whatever anybody else does, it has to be based on what Srila Prabhupada instructed him. Some things have not been fulfilled that Srila Prabhupada instructed him. Just like doubling book distribution every year. That's not so easy. I mean, maybe after the first year you could do it the second year, maybe the third year, but after 100 years, that becomes a little difficult. So, of course, I've always said that we have the ability to do it, we're just not using it. We just have to engage more people in distributing books. Because you can't engage the same 15, 20 brahmacharis that in most places don't even exist, except for India and Russia and a few other places. You have some quantities of brahmacharis, a few temples here or there. But we can't hope, but we can hope that more people are being born every day. Just like Srila Prabhupada said, I want a set of these Srimad Bhagavatams in everyone's home. And devotees, so one devotee said, Srila Prabhupada, what happens when every home has? Well, there will be new homes. But Prabhupada, if every home, but then we go to another planet. No problem. So this is the point, one point I wanted to make about what is initiation about. It's about expanding Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada said that actually one should not be very anxious that he says the nectar of devotion. One should be very careful about accepting disciples. But we do so to expand the Sankirtan movement. We don't do so for jana and dana and fame, recognition, and that it puts me in some category that others aren't in. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu put us all in the same category. You must be Guru. Bhartma Pradarshika Guru, Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru, everyone has to be a Guru. Must be. Has to happen. As soon as you join Krishna consciousness, somebody joins the next day, you have to be Guru. Whatever you learn that first day, you have to teach them. And this way, this is how parampara advances. It's not by one person being named and another person being named. And Srila Prabhupada, his genius is that he has reproduced, of course, on the order of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he has reproduced the environment that existed at the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that has not existed since the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. At the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there were traditional gurus. But at the time of Mahaprabhu, there were so many gurus in one movement. After he left, there was not, that situation did not exist. No. There were some very exalted acharyas. Then Narottam Das Thakur came and initiated thousands of people. And after that, it was again back to a very small number of Vaishnavas. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates left the planet. No, there were only a few pure devotees. So many Appa Sampradayas came about. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur laid the foundation for one movement. But it didn't happen, because Krishna wanted to give that credit to Srila Prabhupada. If Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would have done it, we probably wouldn't be here, because his standard was so elevated. His talk, the way he spoke was so elevated that even Prabhupada said, I only understood 25% of what my Guru Maharaj said. And the one devotee, when Prabhupada said, he said, Prabhupada, I think we only understand 10% of what you said. And Prabhupada said, yes, yes. But 25% or 10% or 1% of what such great exalted Vaishnavas know is much beyond what we can even comprehend. And with the one morning walk I was fortunate enough to attend in Vrindavan, Srila Prabhupada, the devotees were asking how long would he, what would Prabhupada translate after the Bhagavatam? And Prabhupada said, Vishnu Purana, Padma Purana, and he would finish the nectar, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which he started, but he didn't finish, because he saw it would take up too much time along with the Bhagavatam, and seeing that devotees were not so quick to become pure devotees. So he concentrated on the Bhagavatam. Even that was interrupted by our neophyte position. And so Srila Prabhupada came as a grihastha, so that he could take this Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. If a staunch sannyasi like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would have taken it all over the world, we would probably have a few sannyasis and a few brahmacharis, and everybody else would think this is impractical.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but Srila Prabhupada was expert at establishing Krishna consciousness in such a way that everyone could practice. He was liberal. He was very strict. One time, one devotee said, Srila Prabhupada, they're saying you are you're a fundamentalist, that you're too conservative. And Prabhupada said, no, I am very liberal. Krishna prema pradayate. Lord Chaitanya is giving Krishna consciousness to everyone. So this is the basis of this movement, and this is one point I wanted to make, that how can we enter into Krishna Lila? Not so easy. First you have to hear pastimes, chant the holy name in a pure way with Shuddha Nam. And with that Shuddha Nam, practicing Raganuga Bhakti, you may be able to enter into Krishna's pastime in this lifetime. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela is not so difficult. You simply have to follow his instruction. Ateva Amayagya Dinun Sabakari Jahan Tahan Premapala Deha Charitari. That I order everyone within the universe, take these fruits of love of Godhead and distribute them everywhere to everyone. And so what are those fruits? They have manifested in the form of Srila Prabhupada's books. And we can take them everywhere. So we are, by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, we are allowed to enter into Chaitanya Lila. You can't enter into Krishna Lila so easily. No. Chaitanya Lila you can enter. He's giving us that access. Easy access. No. VIP pass. Because I always say, one time I was in the airport, I went in the wrong line. I got waited in the line. There was a bigger line. I thought, why is everybody not coming to this line? And I got up to the end and said, this is the VIP line. They said, are you VIP? And I said, yes. They said, oh. I said, yes, very insignificant person. All right, go ahead. So, I didn't realize that. So, we can all become VIP, you know. And we are, according to Stita Duli Sadyachim Vichintaya, we are, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu confirmed, we are in that insignificant, infinitesimal category. But when we go into that category, we realize it, then we become the greatest devotee in Krishna's eye, whom, as Lord Brahma said in his prayers, that that even though Krishna is incomparable within the three worlds, he is conquered by his devotees. That's how important you become when you actually become a little speck at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or at the lotus feet of Krishna. Then you become, in Krishna's eyes, the greatest devotee. And we're not aspiring to do that. But Krishna elevates his devotees to that platform. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, everything in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement is an opportunity to make an unbelievable amount of advancement, which is why in the 11th canto where it describes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the most merciful avatar, it says that Kalim Jayant Dinatya Gunagya Saravagina Jatra Sankirtane Naiva Saptasvarto Vilbhyate, that even the demigods want to take birth in Kali Yuga, because they, any other yuga you have to do hundreds of years or thousands of years of penances, sacrifices, yagyas, and we were discussing yagya just a while back. The yagyas are so, just like now, a few weeks ago in Mayapur we established a new TOVP yagya stala. And I mean, it's like, usually we just put a few bricks and have a little fire, and I mean, it's like huge. Actually, Vedic yagya stalas generally had 16 fires. And it's a lot of fires, sometimes 24, but minimum 16 fires. And all need fire. There's like 3 Brahmins at each one assisting, one chanting the mantras, and one correcting the mantras. So can we do that? No, we can barely, in some places we can barely, especially in my zone in Latin America, barely afford enough ghee to do one little, maybe 1 liter of ghee. We struggle to pay for that so we can do one yagya, And I remember before Russia became what it was, sometimes we were having to use corn oil, and other types of oil for the yajnas. We heard that, so it was very difficult times. So, but the devotees always find a way. Just like in the first initiation, Srila Prabhupada had the devotees go out and buy plastic beads and make their beads. While Prabhupada was lecturing, they're making their beads for the initiation the next day, that nobody even knew what it meant. Even Mukunda Maharaj at that time, at that time not even Michael, he said to another devotee, "Are you getting initiated tomorrow?" He said, "Yeah, I think so. We can try it out and see how it goes." So hopefully we know a little more nowadays. And the important thing is that we understand it is the beginning. A devotee always thinks, I'm at the beginning. And it's only my Guru Maharaj, the Parampara, that is pulling me. And the Guru thinks that it's only my Guru Maharaj that's pulling me. And so everyone is always at the beginning. We're never at the end. There is no end. There's only a beginning. And there's actually no beginning, just that we see a beginning because we took birth. Otherwise there's no beginning and there's no end. And that is inconceivable to us, what to speak of Krishna. Krishna's potency. How one person can understand everything that's going on in unlimited universes, and it's not even very interesting. We're interested, like, we see the internet, something pops up, this and that. Krishna knows everything within all of the three worlds, and it's not very interesting. So uninteresting that he sleeps while he's understanding all these things, he's sleeping. That's how uninteresting it is to Krishna. But that his pure devotee, somewhere in some universe, is in difficulty, that is very interesting to Krishna. That he will put his full attention and he will go there. Like Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj was in danger. He was in the womb. He wasn't even technically doing any service. He was just in a womb. And Krishna saved him because he's a pure devotee. So that is Krishna's interest. And we have to come to that point, which is the fruit of initiation, to understand that Krishna is not interested in all the details of my material existence. Krishna is interested in what I have to do to go back home, back to Godhead. He wants to point that out. What do you need? Just like as managers, someone who requests initiation, we can't deny them. We have to tell them what they have to do in order to achieve that. We can't just say, no, you can't be, you're not qualified. Prabhupada, of course he did say sometimes you're not qualified. Even once, Shruti Kirtiku was fanning Prabhupada like chamara. And there was a fly on his head. And Prabhupada said to Tamal Krishna Maharaj, get someone with intelligence to use the chamara.
To get the fly.
He said this, it is for chasing away the flies. Otherwise, where does it come from? It comes from the tail of a yak. And what does the yak use it for? I feel sorry for all those yaks in the summertime. I don't know if they put an artificial one on, and because otherwise, in the summertime, the yaks can't swish away the flies. I guess that's their tapasya for serving the deity. But anyway, so this initiation is such an important thing because it allows us to come to the point of entering into Krishna's pastimes. But in the meantime, we can be part of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime. And because his pastime is so merciful, that as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu described himself, his pastimes have three aspects. First of all, that Vaishnava Seva, that we serve the Vaishnavas, Nami Ruchi, that we develop a real taste for the holy name, and Jive Daya, that we want to give that mercy to all the living entities. These three things. So, chanting the holy name, worshipping the Lord in his deity form, and then giving that mercy to everyone else. This is such an important thing. And therefore we should understand that taking initiation is not, it's giving us an opportunity to intensify these activities, which anyone can do by the mercy of the Vaishnava. And I'll conclude with this. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that actually neophyte devotees are not really devotees. In the true sense of the word. They're not really devotees, but they're devotees by the mercy of other devotees. A neophyte, by the mercy. Actually, Madhyamadikari is when you become a devotee. Otherwise, when we're neophyte, we depend solely on the mercy of the Lord and his devotee. And in any stage, we do, but there's actually some real credit there. When we go beyond anartha nivritti, then there's some real credit. We've done something. We've achieved nishta, fixed in our service, not going anywhere, nothing else to do except serve Krishna. And then it intensifies. And so, Srila Prabhupada said one time, better to get off the neophyte platform as quickly as possible, because on the neophyte platform, we commit offenses. Because we judge people, we box people into how the modes of nature are controlling them. And if we study that, we can see it happen. But then Krishna advises us, Vidya Vinaya Sambhane Brahmani Bhavi Hastini, that you have to go beyond that. You have to go beyond seeing the mechanics of how this world is working and see the most important factor, which Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, if you want to understand logic, apply your logic to the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then you will understand things properly. I just have to say one thing that I many times mentioned. I always found this so wonderful. That devotee, Srila Prabhupada, very early in the movement, 1968, because I wasn't there, but so one devotee, actually I think it was, I can't remember who it was, but I think I know who it was, Bhagavani Bears. He said, Prabhupada said, so we must follow these four regulatory principles, and he named them, four of them. One devotee raised his hand. He said, Prabhupada, that seems impossible. And Prabhupada thought about it. He said, yes, it is impossible. Some devotees thought, well, maybe 2 out of 4. No, maybe. No. And Prabhupada said, but by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the impossible has become possible. No. I have to follow 4. Unfortunately. But, this is the mercy that we're getting now. The beginning of mercy, receiving mercy, is preparing ourselves for receiving that mercy, which means as Prabhupada said, you have to force yourself a little bit. After some time, it becomes natural. Like you play the guitar or piano or saxophone or whatever. In the beginning, it's so much work, but after you become expert, then it's just enjoyable. And the same with bhakti, just, it takes a little longer than a saxophone, that's all. Maybe sitar, maybe it's closer to playing sitar, bhakti. But if we practice and we do it every day, then that's what initiation is for. It's just to formalize what everybody is doing everywhere in the world. People learn some skill, they learn some activity, and they become expert. And that's what we're doing. Nothing new under the sun. So here's some thoughts. You have to excuse me, my brain's a little tired right now. I kind of wandered around different subjects, but in any case, tried to relate it to what's happening this weekend. And that what's happening is we encourage devotees. This is our duty. Try to encourage others to come up. As Srila Prabhupada said, the greatest pleasure of the spiritual master is to see the disciple become more advanced than him, or her, or whatever. But that's the greatest pleasure. And so, this is the miracle of the Parampara. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Jai. His Holiness Guru Prasad Swami ki
Jai.
Jai.
So, can we have a question? I have a question.
Yes, please.
How many devotees live here?
Here in this building,
I mean, in this, there's another building, right, in the back?
no, this is the building.
This is it.
This is it. This entry that you came in
Uh-huh.
is the entry of this building, and this building stops behind this wall, even though we did buy an extension from the other building,
Okay.
because this is a pujari room that's back there. But that's already another building. Behind this wall, it's another building.
Because I saw a building outside the window.
Yes, this is behind, this is another building behind. So this is like, let's say, a small little village, let's say with 3 houses.
Oh, okay.
And only this is the temple.
Okay.
The others,
So-
neighbors.
And
The
this
neighbors.
Yeah, these are neighbors here and neighbors here.
Okay, so this is the neighbor. The
The
building
neighbors,
over
yes.
here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this temple is not a temple like run like those who live here. They are the devotees who live here. They are the ones who are running and supporting the temple.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that the temple is feeding all these people and so, no. Each one is feeding the temple.
Wow.
This is a opposite.
Wow.
This is how we were able to, relieve the yatra, the German yatra, from this huge debt of 3 million euros and 17 court cases. And so now we have only about 200,000 to accomplish, to finish, and no more court cases. All court cases are finished.
Wonderful. Yes, thank you so much for your diligence.
But you know how the only reason why I was able to do it, because I took example from the story of the spider helping build Lord Ramachandra's bridge.
Mhm.
What does it do? You know, everybody was building the bridge, this big thing, and the
Yeah.
spider, what did he do? Just a little piece of ground, and carry it here, and then put it. This is how I started.
Okay.
Or the same, like the story of the bird who had lost his egg in the ocean, and then Garuda came to drink the ocean to her. This was my meditation every day when I started my service as a GBC. And then we accomplished many
I
things.
think anyone else would have gone running in the opposite direction. Not easy to accept such. Just like Krishna, I can't remember that I ever did anything I wanted to do in Krishna consciousness.
I did not get a single wish, how to say, realize.
I wanted to do this, I wanted to continue to study the books, I wanted to study Sanskrit, I wanted to know, none of those things, never got to.
Yeah, this is another thing I decided. I said, so now I have this responsibility. What is important to me? I am not so important. Important for me is to serve the devotees and the problems that are at hand. And everything else, at the end, if there's time for me, I'll take care of myself. But and this is what I did
Yeah.
this whole time. And what I did also is that I put on my name, on my private personal name, all the debts that were in the yatra from all the temples on my name, to relieve the devotees from the burden of the debts that each temple had. And they were not able to chant properly, to preach properly, nothing, because they were completely unterdrückt by the heaviness of that was left behind. Also, I don't need to say name. I will not give a name because that's not the purpose of it, but whoever was my predecessor lived this big
Well,
mess.
they gave you so much service. So. Very personal.
Thank you. And by doing this, the devotees were relieved from the burden of everything that happened for many, many, many years, 10, 12 years, all those things that happened. And they were able to start to chant, distribute books, build up their temples, and stop fighting. All the temple presidents were fighting, hitting each other and everything. So they stopped all that. And after some time, I had to talk to so many people. Anyway, 25 years of work. And at the end, now we have 14 temples, 26 namahatas, and the debts is only 200,000 left from 3 million euros.
And in the building living like five.
And the persons that are living here, my husband and myself, Hemanga, living here in this part of the building, and the Prabhu who just walked out, Mukunda, he is also, but the Prabhu who lives here, he's paying rent for his apartment. Then now we rent it by the neighbor because we are expanding some. He just came, he is renting an apartment next door with his family. And we have another husband and wife who are renting an apartment on top of him. So we have a refugee from Ukraine living, she's not here now, she will be there tomorrow morning. So we have my husband, myself, Hemanga, Marjorie. Then she is renting a room in this building. She lives at home 50% of the time and lives here 50% of the time. Her husband is cursing us for being a sect and stealing his wife and his children. Anyway, like I said, but still, despite of everything, she's coming here regularly and spend half of her time here, half of her time at home. So these are the people that are living here. And then when we have a big festival, there's this, can be 80, 100 or more devotees coming to the program from outside and all over. And she lives, I don't know how many kilometers? 15 kilometers away from here. She lives there. So she comes with her boys, children. Her husband drove here yesterday.
Yeah.
So we do actually have, in this part of the world, a lot of families who husband and wife don't share the same view. It's very common. And we have to become very expert in dealing with the situation. Otherwise, they break up. They think, the person who wants to become Krishna conscious, they think, I have to divorce my husband and become a devotee. And then who's going to take care of all these children and all these wives and husbands that are broken down because their marriage is broken? So we have to become very expert in teaching them to remain in their situation. And still, because in this part of the world, in Germany especially, the Grundgesetz, the law of the fundamental law, says that everybody has the right of their own religion and practice their own religion. So we have to teach these married couples that you have to, it's the law in this country to leave your husband and your wife to follow the religion they want to. You cannot avoid it. The problem comes when the education to the children happens. Then that's the really problematic, because then one wants to teach their children Krishna consciousness and the other one doesn't want to. That's the next step of expertise.
That's like learning 2 languages, no?
Yeah.
So, yes, well, thank you for that background. Appreciate that.
So
You know, even in India, the thing about marriage, because some people are shy by it, some people, and they don't become, you know, not everybody becomes, and it's even more difficult when you have a Christian man or wife, man or woman, and
or even
the other
Muslims.
ones are devotees.
Some are Muslims even.
Because, yeah,
Yeah.
but the Christian, because in Christianity, anybody who converts into a Christian, it's very different, it's not very common that a Hindu converts into a Muslim. But it is common in South India that Hindu will convert into a Christian. And they become very fanatical against, you know, Vaishnavas or against Hindus. Very, so it exists every, of course, in the West, it's more difficult.
There was a time when I started my service 25 years back, that actually on the streets people were spitting at us and throwing stones, and they were treating us like we were terrorists at the time. But now the world situation has turned in such a way with all the wars and the real terrorists that are around. When we go on Harinam now, people, they say they are peaceful. They actually, and even I meet people on the street, they said, I see you for 50 years doing this and longer, and I never listened to you. But now the environment is going berserk because of all the things, and you are telling us, don't eat meat, don't do this, don't do that. You've been telling us all along, and we never listened to you. You know, and now it becomes interesting for them on the streets.
Yeah, wonderful.
And you are still existing. You remember?
Yeah, the story of the person who
said that
many years I did this and this.
you are still existing. How it's possible?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna movement, you are still existing. It was 15 years ago, maybe. Maybe you in Germany met someone with the Harinam, and now when we are on the streets, we are making Harinam, and they said that you are still existing. It's impossible. How did you?
Well, they know us from at that time. And they are 2 people, they are old, white hair, just like us, we have white hair and wrinkles and everything. And then the lady or the man, they stop and they start singing, and the partner, he's in the back and he's watching his old man or this old lady, his partner, all of a sudden chanting Hare Krishna. And he said, where do you know these people from? I used to do this before, and they never knew. And all of a sudden they see her and they reveal to their partner, I used to be a Hare Krishna for some time and I learned so many things. And like I said, when I started my GBC service, we were on the sect list, on the red list of deprogrammers and all that. And now, if you look at the internet, we are completely changed. We are authentic religion coming from so many thousand years back, and we have principles that we are following. We are not brainwashing anybody and all these things. And as I said this morning in class, Krishna Kirti was there this morning, and I said, but after 50 years doing what I'm doing, I'm so happy to constant to realize that I'm actually become completely brainwashed. And for so many years I've been preaching, no, we're not brainwashing anybody. And now after 50 years, I don't know how much longer I'm going to live. I hope my brain will be completely brainwashed.
Actually, yesterday I asked ChatGPT, this movement will expand. So I think ChatGPT is wrong. It says, yeah, we will progress, but we will not become a mass movement like it was before. So
Whatever it is, if we become Krishna conscious and a few people around us, our life is successful.
Yes, yes. Definitely. Well, Srila Prabhupada said many times that it will happen.
Yeah.
yes,
I mean, I see it as happening, and not that it's going to be, everybody's going to be pure devotees, but you know,
At once, not
it'll
at
be,
once.
it'll be like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time. There'll still be some demons, there'll still be opposition, but many people will join. That's how I see it.
Yeah, because they can see how the world is
Yeah,
progressing, what's going on.
yeah, it's horrible.
So,
It's horrible for us, for some people, but even the most optimistic people are seeing that anything can happen at any time. And you get a Trump or something like that,
yeah.
wars start out, you get, you know, fanatical. Anybody who's fanatical, Prabhupada said, you be fanatical with yourself, not with others. You want to be fanatical with yourself. Be very strict with yourself and very tolerant with others. Sometimes we do the opposite.
yeah. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati also said that look inside yourself and not on others.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
All right, thank you very much, Maharaj.
thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Manga Gopal, you can take care of Maharaj, whatever he needs for the night, water and so, everything. And the Mangal Artik is 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
Yeah, actually, we open the curtain at 5:15, but in general, we say 5 o'clock so everybody has the time to come in the temple and be there.
Okay.
So, then Mangal Artik, Tulasi Puja, Japa until 7:15, and then greeting of the deities, Prabhupada Puja, class.
Okay.
Okay, breakfast, and then again, then you said at 10:30 we can meet you, so I will meet you with her at 10:30, and when we finish, Vrishabhanu Nandini can meet you.
Okay.
For a talk before whatever needs to be
Okay.
clarified, yes. And then at 2 o'clock we start the kirtan here, so I'm not expecting